Oh ho ho, looks like you're just in time. Alright, so I'm waiting for the other one to upload. And of course, I'm back to ideas. And after thinking I was recording myself, but I wasn't for about 20 minutes. So after walking around my apartment talking to myself with no proof of it, we'll put it that way. After I did that, I thought, oh crap. Now I gotta remember everything I said. But one of the points that I tried to make was, what would Bitcoin be called if it were an asset redeemable in someone's attention in time? Um, are we ever going to figure out the value of our own? Ooh, I like the way that sounds. Yes, that's cool. What would Bitcoin be called if it were an asset redeemable in someone's attention in time? Are we ever going to figure out the value of our own personal assets? Would you pay attention to an asset worth less than the cheapest altcoin? What would Bitcoin be called if it were an asset redeemable in someone's attention? In someone's time and attention. How about that? Someone's time and attention. Are we going to find out the value of our own personal assets? Would you pay attention to an asset worth less than the cheapest altcoin? Doing the best thing for your future self isn't easy. What the heck am I trying to say? Get that funny bone. Are we going to figure out? No. What's. I don't know why I'm starting out like that. What is the value of your own personal assets? Your own personal asset. Hold on a second. You know what Whole Foods needs to do? They need to change their. Well, actually, it might even say it, but I throw the boxes out as soon as I get them, so I don't actually read the directions. But I'm curious if on their directions portion of their pizza boxes, they say turn the oven on to 400 and put in your frozen pizza for a half an hour and then wait 5 minutes and then eat it. Like, do they have a. Like, I was thinking today about back in the day when I would cook at home with my mom when I was younger, or whenever I do anything, it was always preheat the oven. Oh, preheat the oven, preheat the oven. And I'm now assuming that's because when you make your food, you don't necessarily want it to dry and you want it to cook, and or you preheat the oven when before you start cooking, and then you know, then when it's ready, you're ready. But I was thinking, you know what, for this frozen pizza, I'm really not interested in like gourmetness. I just want to get it right the first time. So, I'm curious if other oven temperatures vary, but I'm wondering if I put it in the oven with zero preheat and it slowly defrosts as it heats up, how long until the pizza's done? That's all I want to know. So maybe they should, or maybe I'll read the box and see if they don't know it, and then I'll tell them. What is the value of your own personal asset? Trying to eyeballing Bitcoin? That's kind of weird. I don't think that makes sense. All right, gotta get deeper with this question. What would the value of your own personal asset be 10 years in the future? Ooh, I think I got it. What would the value of your personal asset be 10 years in the future? Now I lost it. Are you serious? Oh, son of a bee. What would the value of your own personal asset be 10 years in the future if you started telling the truth today and were able to guarantee it in the future? I love it when those things actually work. What? That question kind of ended in a period, I think. What would the value of your personal... What would the value of your personal digital asset be 10 years in the future if you start telling the truth today? I think is where I want to leave it. Might be getting into hot water with that guarantee there. What would the value of your personal digital asset be 10 years in the future if you started recording the hold that thought. So update for Whole Foods, so I think that might have to be amended to 33 minutes. A little bit longer. What would Bitcoin be called if it were an asset redeemable in someone's time and attention? What would the value of your personal digital asset be in 10 years? Jeez. See, the choice of words for tweets is literally make or break. Not that I'm some wordsmith, but yikes. What would the value of your personal digital asset be in 10 years if you started telling the truth today? Hashtag blockchain. Hashtag. Don't know why I have to say these out loud. I kind of want to put machine learning. And I kind of want to put AI. Kind of want to put social media. Social media building account? How the heck do I describe that to someone if they ask me, what are you talking about? I don't know. What would the value of your personal digital asset be in 10 years if you started telling the truth today? Yeah. That's my question. You sanctimonious. So it's always like a matter of. Oh, I also missed that button too. It's a game to try and figure out if I can catch that stupid little button before it runs out. Oh, yeah. The other question I had, what was it? Coin. Are you serious? Hold on.
March until that's going to be reached. But man, every single 4 hours we're going to get closer and closer to where if we end up breaking this trend line, which I believe dates back to earlier price
And we're
action,
back.
we could seriously
But
see,
you already knew
not
that.
maybe, a crazy board or nothing, but I think we could decently see maybe a move to like 30 or 40, 50 cents maybe.
So I saw. So sorry. John Biggs was kind enough to, and this is funny, my nickname in college, some friends of mine called me Biggs. Anyway, hype.com, I asked, what did I ask? Well, we'll find out what I asked in a short time, but this is what my answer was. I like this. Basically, he sent a website where you go and watch videos and are paid in Bitcoin as a result of watching the video, which is not a bad deal if you can go do it. I said, I like this, but what if the token, instead of Bitcoin, was the attention of some celebrities, some celebrity's attention. See, this is why I have to reread these, because I change them so many times that they don't make any sense. What if the token was the attention of some celebrity instead of BTC? What if you could spend a couple months collecting enough seconds to have a 1-hour conversation with your favorite CEO? Where are these digital assets? Now, excuse me while I go earn some BTC. Reply. So I basically asked, what would Bitcoin be called if it were an asset redeemable in someone's time and attention? What would the value of your personal digital asset be in 10 years if you started telling the truth today? It's my story and I'm sticking to it. That's right. It's no joke. What did we say? Yeah. So here's something that I was looking into a while ago, and I feel like such a tool. My mom was talking to me about some financial something or other, and she was not nagging her. Well, she was reminding me in her special sort of way that I needed to go over, or she wanted me to research some things. And it was index funds and high yield savings accounts. And I was like, okay, Mom, sure thing. Of course, here I am going to talk about sudden wealth syndrome, but, some some people believe things to an extent of euphoria and elation, and then they just kind of, deer in the headlights. Other people believe that once that happens, life still goes on. So it's kind of um, well, I'll see if I can weave it into this tweet. So Mr. BXRP says, want to have some fun. He said, basically, take your digital assets and multiply them by their all-time high. See how you stack up to the last bull run. Basically, do some math and, think about it again and be like, ah! Let me see if I can actually put what I just said in here. It's going to be nuts. Some people will get so... I saw it. Some people will get so excited when those all-time highs return. Some people will get so excited when those all-time highs return that they will feel like they won the lottery. Some people believe in it so much they can't stop. I don't want to come off as that guy, but, well, hopefully I won't. Some people believe in it so much they can't stop thinking about that all-time high bag price tag. Then there are those that believe that and know that life moves on after the deer. Oh, deer. There we go. After the deer in the head. Lights. There are those that believe that. Then there are those that can believe there's life after the deer in the headlights moment. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa.
Thank you guys for tuning the video today. Really do appreciate
Yeah, that's
it.
right.
Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, check links.
Check the links.
Legend, as keep their cryptocurrency nice and safe, and make sure to turn on those post notifications.
Jungle link.
Free.
Twitter. Then there are those that can believe there's life after the deer and the... Whoa, good people.
Here. Just been reading some Ripple XRP news, and I just heard that Corey Johnson is no longer with the Ripple team. And I gotta tell you, when they first added him, I wasn't the biggest Corey Johnson fan.
Oh, you're just saying that.
Now, according to this article I'm reading, they are stating Ripple.
Alright, so I'm going to let you listen while I do this. And maybe we'll meet in a few minutes.
Ripple looked at his position and just came to the conclusion it's not possible to do what he was brought on to do. I believe their vision for Corey Johnson is to be a bridge from this really high-level tech company with all these complicated issues, international finance and technology and government regulations around the globe, and kind of boil it down into an easy-to-understand, relatable message that everyday investors, members of the media, regulators, and kind of repackage all these high-level ideas in a way that your everyday person can relate to and understand and really apply. In other words, I think he was given the impossible task. We follow this stuff on a daily basis, but make no mistake, this is some very high-level information. And sometimes you just have to let the world catch up to the modern era. Ripple is so far out ahead of everyone else. Now, this isn't a major issue, like Chris Larson or Brad Garlinghouse or David Schwartz leaving the company. We will carry on. And I think Ripple should be appreciative to a job well done in a very important time in their company's history. I think he served his purpose, but we are on to bigger and better things. Now, news has just broke that Ripple partner Centfriend has received $1.7 million from financial giants MasterCard, Barclays, MIT, and Ripple. And I think there's a lot to be excited here. We see Visa and MasterCard in a bidding war to acquire Earthport. And now we see MasterCard making investments in another X-Rapid partner, another Ripple partner, Centfriend. Swift is telling us that the current system, their GPI, is the answer to cross-border payments. But we see payment providers, whether it be Visa or MasterCard or major banks around the globe, making significant investments in their infrastructure, in their technology. And it's all connected to Ripple. It's all connected to XRP. What the media, what business is telling us is one thing. But if you follow the money, it's telling us something entirely different. I think every day, the news, the developments, is showing us that these companies, these payment providers, these credit card companies, these major financial institutions around the globe, they are willing to make massive investments to improve
Yeah,
the
like that
current
one.
system. And again, like DM Logic states, every rock you overturn, underneath it is XRP. And that's what we're seeing again. This is another Ripple partner. And we see MasterCard making significant investments.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
In the future of RippleNet. I was just cruising Twitter, and I saw this article shared by Alex Cobb, and it's titled, Two Financial Institutions Just Went Live on Ripple.
Have fun.
XRP involved. Quoting from the article, Yesterday, two institutions that Jungle Link is not going to try to pronounce their name has
We might have
confirmed
to
that they
revisit
are
this
live
one.
with real-time cross-border payments into Thailand. Of course, the big question is XRP involved?
Well, all
And
right
for
then.
over a year, this is what we've been talking about. People in Thailand, people in the Philippines. This is where the roads will be built. These are the countries that need solutions for cross-border payments that the current system just does not service correctly. But make no mistake, eventually, this will connect with your heavy hitters, your bigger countries, your bigger institutions. But this is the groundwork we're seeing being laid before our eyes. When I read an article like this nowadays, I rarely ask myself,
Arman
is XRP
Anwar.
being used? I know eventually XRP will be used by everyone. It is faster, it is cheaper, it is more efficient. In the history of the world, in the history of business, no one has ever opted for less efficient, more expensive payments. We just have to build up the infrastructure, and we are on our way. We are seeing real work being accomplished. I mean, people will flip out about a Coinbase rumor, but two actual partners
You're doing what?
using RippleNet to accomplish a task.
Six-figure tech
Just
business.
the way they had told us it would unfold. That goes unnoticed, but not by me and not by you. Slow days like today, these are the days that the revolution is won. The days when
Interesting. Might
actual
have
meaningful progress is
to
made and no one
check
notices.
that out
When I
later.
see MasterCard and Visa in an all-out bidding war for a RippleNet partner, and I see MasterCard making investments in another RippleNet partner, when I see two partners in Thailand going live on RippleNet to actually service their customers with our technology, to me
They
that's
still haven't
an
gotten back to
explosive
me.
day. News like today,
What was
that's
her
the kind of
name?
thing
Sarah?
that's
Something?
going to
Someone
take
at
us to that
MIT.
Bentley time type of price.
Bentley
And most of the world
time.
will not notice until it's too late. I'm going to take a moment to go on Twitter and thank Corey Johnson for his contribution to the Ripple family, because we are all in this together. And he is forever
Good old-fashioned
part of this
AI
revolution,
nostalgic.
just like you and I are. And I encourage
Interesting.
you
What's
to
this
do the
guy
same.
all about?
As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.
Bernoulli?
What's the problem? The elastic has not been performing well under heat.
Why don't we swap this out for the R6 cooling fiber?
Let's not say we did.
Mission sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3.
That guy did a good job on his intro, I must say. Bernoulli, Armon. Ew.
Hey everybody, this is the
You are a smart
I'll tell you what, you can't make some
dude.
things up. I'm going to show you something in a few minutes here that will
Alright,
blow your mind.
back to Armon.
And it's 100% true. I can prove it. Okay.
Hey.
This is from X-Men XRP at XRP 33. And he sent me this. And this is SEC Commissioner asks federal lawmakers to amend regulation for crypto-based ETF. Okay? I'm not interested in the ETF part of this. I'm interested in the other things she said. It says, United States SEC Commissioner, while they're delivering a speech at the University of Missouri
digital
School of Law,
assets like
that
XRP
blockchain-based
or
decentralized networks don't
ideas
fit nuclear
about
securities framework. Hence, it is essential for
blockchain
regulators and policymakers
economics.
to adjust the existing federal laws
Let
so that
me
it can
know.
include new
Call me
technological
now.
protocols. In other words, folks, the SEC is literally asking lawmakers to pass things like the Token Tax on the Act. I mean,
Token tax on me.
They want this monkey off their back, and that's what I read into this. And this is a quote from Pierce.
Cool,
Many of
Armon.
these crypto projects typically begin in a centralized model similar that of any other firm. A group of people get together to create something. They need to find investors who can fund
Got you
their
that
efforts, which is
time.
why they sell securities or
3
tokens in
hours.
ICOs. The
How
SEC
is it?
implements existing securities regulations to these securities offerings, meaning that they have to be conducted based on securities laws or otherwise under an exemption. Or otherwise under an exemption. That's code. We need the House to pass an exemption so that we can get around it, figure this thing out, get this monkey off our back. Then it says the SEC crackdown on ICOs reportedly resulted in the sacking of a number of scam funds. Yet it also impacted genuine companies, and this is the problem, folks. Pierce mentioned one of these companies in her speech. One crypto project, Basis, recently announced that it would halt operations and return its $133 million in capital raised from an ICO to investors because of the difficulty involved in complying with securities regulations, considering their team's vision for the crypto project. In other words, the SEC now realizes that they are getting in the way, and they need the House to pass something that will create an exemption so that they can get this monkey off of their back. And that way they won't be responsible for standing in the way of other countries to proceed forward with digital assets, and then the U.S. to lose its advantage. Okay, so that's where this is all going, folks. It's not a coincidence that the House is trying to pass this Token Taxonomy Act. Okay, this is from Sergeant Obi-Wan. Now, this is huge, folks. This is as big gets, okay? Payments giant Western Union preparing for crypto. Tests Ripple XRP. Another huge partner. It's going to be hard to beat XRP cross-border payments. Well, I want to give you another piece of breaking news out of that, and that I'm here to tell you that Western Union, in a roundabout way, actually
Yeah, he did a really good job with this.
Ripple now, okay? And I'm about to show you why I say that. This is the article from the Daily Hodl, okay? This is an interview with the general manager of Pacific, Molly Shea from Western Union. She says, when you think about cryptocurrency, if those start to take off, we need to be ready. We need to be ready from a technology perspective, and we've got to be ready from regulatory has to be there. We constantly have to be looking for those trends where customers are looking and make sure that you're ready to meet those needs and expectations. As some examples, we're piloting some settlement tests with Ripple for certain corridors. I think the US dollar and Mexican peso is one example. And really learning about possible opportunities. The options that we choose will need to be legitimate and widely acceptable for consumer use. Now listen to this, folks. Another thing that we're doing as a part of our exploration is we've made an investment in the Digital Currency Group. It's a fund that provides industry-leading insights into the blockchain and cryptocurrency space.
Hold on a second.
Ripple XRP is expected to rally
Sorry.
weeks ahead.
So, what's taking place here? Is going to literally it's going to literally transform how we interact with one another. Put it that way. Because this is a doctor interacting with a patient, and in this case, I think it's a operation animal. I don't know what they call them, but he's not doing this on a human. He's doing it, there you go, remote control surgery over a 5G network. And that is I think it may be a pig. He's about 30 miles away from the operating theater. The robotic arm removes a liver from a laboratory animal. That's what it's called. So this robot is literally has its talons in this laboratory animal, removing a liver, I think it said. and the doctor in the room is 30 miles away. Like, if we can perfect life and death procedures, and if we can have a network that is quick enough and reliable enough for that to function on, aka 5G network, what is that going to do for the future of augmented reality and virtual reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain economy, and fill in the blank with anything else you want to put in there? What does that mean for it? I don't know. You do the math. I mean, there's a lot of things. Oh, darn it, went the wrong way. There's a lot of things that we could do, like this idea. There he is, John Biggs. Like this guy, John Biggs. So, Big John, that's hilarious. So the company I work for does some, or the business I work for does some work with Big John's moving at times. So that's why I'm laughing. Anyway, oh no, it wasn't here. It was my tweet. Anyway, he got me thinking of, like, what if Gary Vaynerchuk had a token? What if 10 years ago he took the Bitcoin idea and was like, oh man, I want to do this, and literally, like, secretly knew that in order to make a blockchain work for a human in the course of their life, he'd literally have to record enough information of something that enabled him to better guarantee his point of view or his opinion. He had to figure out a way how to better guarantee his point of view or opinion and monetize that as a transferable credit or an asset that can be, what's the word? Collected? No. Transferable. A digital asset. I mean, look it up. Figure out what that is. The only way he could give that asset value, he decided, and I'm totally making it up. This is neither Gary nor Satoshi. I don't know. What comes to my mind when I think of these things? The only way you'd be able to give Bitcoin a value if it were denominated in, what's the word? Telling the truth. So basically, your honesty as an asset. How do you prove your honesty, or how do you prove your sincerity? You record yourself out loud, live, and let everyone see it. So that you can't, basically not. This isn't an idea to record yourself and to have everyone record themselves. It's an idea to capture enough of someone's ideas and thoughts so that they can go back if they need to and say, hey, I was having that idea too. The only way for that to work is to have those ideas open publicly. And that's kind of where Bitcoin comes in. So Gary can now go look at his content 10 years ago and say, yeah, that's when I said that, that's where I was, and that's who I was talking to. That's in his blockchain. So extrapolate that to today. Bitcoin's 10 years old. It was an idea that someone thought of 10 years later, at 10 years later, it brought its value. That simple idea brought a nominal value of $0.8 trillion. Now, I know I love the example Gary gives about, let's see if we can find Gary. I love the example that he gives about the empathy one. So I'm going to try that. I love the example that he gives of, what was it? Oh, I just had his voice saying it in my head. It'll probably come back to me. Anyway, Gary's basically done the same thing Bitcoin did. He took an idea. I don't know if it's worth $0.8 trillion, but he took an idea and has made a significant amount of money from it. Let's put it that way. Now, with his idea, he can do other things with it. Imagine if Gary had an asset similar to Bitcoin, a network asset. Imagine what Gary's network asset would be worth today. That's where I see the blockchain economy going. You will literally pay your bills in someone's attention. How about that? How about you go to here? How's this for futuristic thinking? You go to a wallet salesman and you say, "Hey, what's your success rate on?" Oh gosh, I'm thinking about this too fast. What's your success rate on X wallet? And it's basically someone's. All right, I'm going to start back in the beginning. So you're going to be able to pay for things with digital assets because the asset is going to be someone's attention. And since we all want other people's attention, we're going to have to figure out how do we classify these or how do we get these to trade against one another in an open market so that we can cash in our Janet Jackson coin to get how much ever we need of different strokes, replay, animation, funny video. Basically, whatever person, say you're paying your landlord, and your landlord likes whatever that example I just gave, the one that made no sense. If they like that and that's how they want to get paid, you have to go out and find an exchange for it, basically. So you have and this is going to be the digital autonomous, the decentralized exchanges. Yeah, decentralized autonomous exchange. The DAE? I think that's what they are. And cash in your whatever coin someone's attention for something else. And, before this, it would seem really annoying to have to come up with an exchange for all these things. But when they're in smart contracts and when they're basically when they run on blockchain network and everything that's been created and will be created in the future as a result of using blockchain, that's what our future is going to evolve on as far as how we communicate to one another globally. Globally is the key word Because until Bitcoin, there was nothing, A, that could be valued digitally, and B, something that no one in the world controlled. Two, has demonstrated that no one in the world could. It has so far demonstrated to us that no one in the world has control over Bitcoin. So, for the fact that that entered and now it serves both purposes. So it's digital and no one controls it. That's like gold. In my opinion, that's why to me it's a no-brainer. Bitcoin will replace, well, sorry, it's not going to replace. Bitcoin is going to be invented as the global gold standard as far as assets go. The miners are collecting as many Bitcoin as possible. Think China. So that they can acquire as many Bitcoin as possible. So that when there's no more Bitcoins to be mined, guess who has the largest reserves? Now you can think China again. Maybe they figured if they outlawed it for their population, at least they could decrease the global, consumption rate of Bitcoins would be less. So basically, if China said Bitcoin's illegal in our country, we can mine the crap out of it with less competitors, even if the competition now remains the world, the rest of the world. That's just how I see Bitcoin being. And like, imagine describing to someone what it looked like to have known what Bitcoin was in the future, to be walking around when, what's his face? Satoshi Nakamoto came up with the idea. Imagine if you looked over his shoulder and was like, hey, you know what you found there, right? Like, what if that was the Jiminy Cricket on the shoulder of Satoshi Nakamoto? Try to describe that image to someone verbally, and that is the story I get. So imagine all of the global superpowers are trying to collect as many Bitcoins as humanly possible before they're all bought up. Because they know that if they don't do that, someone might get the Bitcoins and make their own monetary system for themselves. I don't know. But it just seems like it's kind of proven its value and its worth. And I think after they came to the conclusion that they're not exactly able to mock it anymore, they're kind of like, all right, well, what do we do now? Join it, try and pitch it to favor us. How do we? This isn't going to stop. We did all we could. It's only getting bigger. How do we tame this thing? And my thought is, collect as much gold as you can. It's interesting. Gold has an inflation rate. Bitcoin does not and cannot and will never. How's that for an asset? You can, with enough digital data reading machines, you can tell a lot of information about the Bitcoin network, but you cannot create more assets of that network, BTC. You can't do it. So I see major countries collecting as much digital assets as possible. Obviously, like anyone else, they know what the biggest is, Bitcoin. So that's what countries are buying. The next one, that's what